We have been working on... Did it work? Hi.
Hi. Me?
I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Yeah, I was just working on a brand new video about the next big project we're working on. Okay, yeah. See, I was just here to ask about Lord of Portals, because we just did the Lord of Portals video, and it did really well. Well, yeah. And so the comments are kind of asking if there's going to be any more, so I was just, checking the future. Hey, me. I was just asking about the Lord of Portals video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm from the future, and I'm working on that video right now. Oh, perfect. Good. How soon do you think that'll be coming out? Oh, yeah, soon. Very soon. Some might say it's just around the corner.
Oh. Trippy.
Oh, wait. Don't go anywhere yet. If you liked Lord of Portals, odds are you'll like what we've been working on since then. And if you have no idea what we're talking about, well, if you're anything like all the people we've shown this game to so far, odds are you'll like it too. Before I introduce exactly what this game is, I think it's important to take a step back and look at the bigger picture.
My name is Sam.
I'm Jasper.
And I'm Honor.
Whoa, Honor's here?
Yeah, I'm astral projecting from overseas.
Huh, I thought that only worked for podcasts.
The three of us formed a creative studio called Weird Mage so that we could start bringing our crazy ideas to life.
But rather than diving into a huge project right away, we decided to spend the summer working on a bunch of smaller projects that we could learn from.
And we definitely did learn from some failures and some successes. And we documented our learnings on this channel for all of you to see.
So as the summer came to a close, we were finally ready to tackle something a little bit bigger, our first commercial game release.
So we knew we were ready to move on to our first big project, but we weren't quite sure what it was going to be yet. So we needed to do some brainstorming. Brainstorming is the most fun part of making anything. Anything is possible and everything sounds like a good idea. It also doesn't hurt that we've been storing up ideas for years now. But this leads to the worst part of making a game, narrowing it down. I mean, just look at these ideas, okay? Like, you want to play the next grade 4X game, or a game about space cowgirls, or a roller hockey game. Like, yeah, these are good ideas. I'm not exaggerating when I say me and Jasper spent days narrowing down ideas. I mean, it was excruciating. I would spend hours at a time on the floor just trying to figure out what hypothetical game would be the best. We tried to use other tools like gamealytic.com to see what people were into, but in the end, it was just a guess. And we decided off what we thought was the most fun and what we could probably do the best. So, in the end, we decided on chrono cards.
Hold on to your watches, because this is about to get temporal. This bit would probably work better if I had a watch. The idea we've settled on is a digital card game that we've given the working title Chrono Cards. It has a lot of mechanics you're probably familiar with from other card games like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra. You play out cards, some of which are units. Those units do combat and attack each other and the enemy player, and then whichever player has their health reduced to 0 first loses the game. That's the basics. What makes Chrono Cards different from these other games is that rather than playing cards into a loosely defined play area, you play them into distinct slots on a timeline. This timeline is separated into an active window of limited size that consists the present, and then all the cards before that are considered the past, all the cards after are considered the future. For most effects in the game, including combat between units at the end of the turn, only the cards in the active window, the present, take effect. And then at the end of each turn, that window moves forward by 1 full slot. So 1 card gets left behind in the new past, and 1 card from the future now joins the others in the present. On its own, this is already pretty interesting. Suddenly, every card has a built-in time limit for how many turns it will be relevant, which totally changes the way you think about the game. But where it really gets exciting is when you start introducing cards that interact with this mechanic. Suddenly you've got cards that are targeting specifically the past or the future. You've got cards that are moving forward and backward through time, or moving the whole present window forward and backward, or even growing the number of cards that fit into the present. Just by the way we got excited thinking about all the possibilities with this system, we were pretty sure we'd hit on something special. And so, we began the early stages of paper prototyping.
When we decided to make Chrono Cards, we had a rough idea of what the game would look like. But there were still a lot of unanswered questions. Like, where are you allowed to play cards? What does the mana system look like? What mechanics make the game fair and interesting? And most importantly, is it fun? Because of that, we needed to prototype, kind of like Jasper did with the Portal game, but we needed to iterate quickly. If we made each prototype virtually in a game engine, development would just be too slow, especially considering how much work we'd be scrapping if we ever wanted to change anything. Like, the workflow would be, for every iteration, we would have to write the new rules for the game, and we'd have to figure out how to translate it to code. Paper prototyping sounded more promising. Our idea was a card game anyway, so all we would need to do for each iteration is write the rules, print off the cards, and sit down and play. But this could also take some time. It would take a while to print and cut out all the cards needed for 2 decks, not to mention the time it would take to digitally lay out and update the cards if we needed any changes. That's when we remembered this video by Dave Geltema that Jasper found ages ago. And that's how we got introduced to Dexterous. Dexterous is an awesome tool that lets you map a spreadsheet to a card layout and export those cards directly to Tabletop Simulator. So now, this is the workflow. We open up a new tab on our Chrono Cards rules doc and write up the new rules for the thing that we want to test. From there, we update the cards in our huge spreadsheet of cards to make sure that they match the new rules. Then we make a couple of new decks, add those to Dexterous, where they're automatically mapped to the layout that I created. From there, we export those cards to Tabletop Simulator, and then we can play Chrono Cards with anybody. Dexterous automates away all the non-game design bits. It's a thing of beauty.
So now that we could handle a lot of cards on a practical level, it was time to get writing. This was one thing that I could work on from where I've been studying abroad, since a 7-hour time difference means you're probably going to miss some other things. After all, when you're just getting started making cards, there's some pretty universal bases to cover. You need grunts that can do a little damage for cheap, some units that can suck up damage, and maybe a classic fireball or two. After that, my priority became writing cards that were really focused around the timeline aspect of the game, since that's our central premise. Even a simple card like Pot of Gold, a card with an eventual payoff down the timeline, can be thrown off with a card that lets you, say, put your opponent in a time loop so they will never see that payoff. Now we've got a game. Making compatible cards like this is what I've found to be the easiest and most fun way to work on designing cards overseas. This is going to be a deck building game, so there have to be cards that work together in different ways to build different strategies. Like a deck built around jumping through a bunch of time skips to keep your opponent on their toes, or focus solely on saving up resources for one big guy to squish your foe like a bug. And of course, all these cards are designed at this early stage to be extremely flexible, so we can be sure they'll survive our rapid-fire iterating and playtesting.
Like Sam said, our goal so far with the prototypes has been to nail down the big, sweeping design decisions. Basically, let's take advantage of the flexibility of paper prototyping so that we can make all the changes now that would be way more expensive to do later in development. Already, we've learned a lot from our experiments. For example, at first, you were only allowed to play 1 card per slot. This ended up feeling really crowded, and it also made it really hard to balance our non-unit cards, which we call events. Because if you play an event, then the opponent knows they can just play a unit there and hit your player health directly over and over. This meant that events were either really weak because of this, or they had to be super strong to counteract that weakness. So we made the change to allow you to play 1 card of each type in every slot. So 1 unit and 1 event. This feels a lot more flexible, and also opened up a brand new design space of units that can reference the event there and vice versa. We've also done a lot of experimentation trying to strictly define the order that effects will resolve, while still keeping it very intuitive. Something that we need to do very well, because eventually we have to implement that in code. And maybe the most useful thing that we've learned from all of this playtesting, card game veterans really like this system. They say that it feels super unique, and even that it inherently addresses some of the flaws that can make other card games feel particularly frustrating at their worst. As we've been conducting these experiments, we've been narrowing in on a design direction that feels fleshed out enough that we're confident in beginning the digital version. And since building a functioning digital prototype will take time, while we're doing that, we can continue to use paper prototyping to help hone in on the balance. Multitasking is a wonderful thing about having multiple people work on the same project. That's currently where the project stands. It's still in its very early phases, but we're excited about it. And one common piece of advice for indie game developers is to let people into your process early, so you can start getting feedback as soon as possible. On that note, there's one issue in particular we've been puzzling over quite a bit lately, and maybe you guys can help us out. It's nothing related to the game's mechanics, but rather its visual style. Art is super important for any game, but especially for a card game, the card art is probably what's going to hook or drive away most casual players. We have some art experience on the team, but none of us are really able to pull off that classic painted look that's so common in other card games. On screen right now are examples of a few different styles we've been exploring for the game. What we'd love to hear from you is, would you buy a game with any of these art styles? And if not, what are some examples of card games with art that you do love? Let us know in the comments. And while you're there, also let us know, what do you think of the game so far? What excites you about Chrono Cards, and what would you love to see more of in the next devlog? Let us know. Until then, there is plenty to do, so we're gonna get back to work. Bye!